Welcome to the newest edition of the DFO podcast. What we're going to be doing in these collective episodes over the next 50 weeks is jumping through every state and what they offer. And we'll probably stick closer to deer hunting. We'll go over a little bit of the other seasons in some of them. The order I'm going to be doing it in is the order they joined the union instead of alphabetical order or anything. I like to do things just different, so that's where I'm going to be going. So this will be the inaugural episode of it. It'll run for the next 50 weeks. They will come out on Thursdays. So each one will be titled basically what state they're in. So some of the things we're going to go over in each and every episode is when they joined the union. Obviously, it'll be in the order of when they did by the date. What they offer when it comes to public land hunting, how much property they have, if it's an over-the-counter, if it's a draw, their deer density, if we can locate it in the different states, just what their license costs, just different things I want to try and go over with every state, because as I'm learning, I want to try to educate other people, because I'm learning this as I do the research for each one. If you know more about what I'm doing than I'm doing on those states, and reach out and let us know the things are correct in them, because I'm finding everything I can. Some of the stuff can be a little bit confusing, so we're going to go from there. And that's how this is going to work over the next 50 weeks. Hope y'all enjoy it. I've researched several of them so far, and I enjoyed myself trying to learn more about each state. Thanks. Delta Lodge Outdoors. This is your view of every state from more like a 30,000 viewpoint. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 3 of the States Edition DFO podcast. Today, we'll be jumping into New Jersey. That was the third state to join the Union on December the 18th, 1787. So 6 days after Pennsylvania and 11 days after Delaware. So December the 18th, 1787, New Jersey became state number 3. So jumping right into their stuff, their whitetail numbers have actually risen over the last few years to a problematic number. For them and their size, that's probably, not as many deer as we expect in most places, but still, they average 36,000 head of deer killed a year. Really not bad numbers for the size of state they are and their seasons and everything. And once again, not to dog it, it's a northern state. Most of those, other than like your Pennsylvanias, your Wisconsins, don't fit the category of what true deer hunters are when it comes to numbers. And not trying to be negative in that, it's just not. They were most of the people from, and correct me, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but most of them do not hunt the way the southern people hunt, and is the way it's brought up and instilled in you is something that's just traditional that you do. It's sort of like I've had the conversation with people, and I'll jump back in the New Jersey thing here in a minute. Some states do man drives, some states still run dogs. It's tradition in either one, so you can't get upset about it if you don't know the tradition behind it. And that's a whole nother podcast that I'm gonna go into detail on that in one of our normal episodes. But yeah, their whitetail deer, the population's been on the rise. They've reached issues with deer collisions and everything with vehicles, so their seasons it's broke up into a bunch of areas. So they have pretty good seasons. You have your regular muzzle loader, you have rifle, you have shotgun, you have bow, you have you got firearms, bows, crossbows. Like, they have a lot of seasons. Then you go into what they have for your license is not really bad. Non-resident firearm hunting is $135.50, or non-resident bow hunting is $135.50. Deer runs, and it varies from zone, so if you're going to hunt public lands, know what their rules are. It runs from September the 9th to February 17th, so it's also one of those that it's really nice to hunt earlier in the year if you're, from a traditionally warmer southern state. You can go and get an early season hunt and have a good chance for a velvet hunt, because it's a early September hunt. Their weapons, like I said, vary. They're pretty If you have a bow, it's $1. If you have your firearm, it's $1. So you could basically, my understanding is it's a three. Like you could kill up to $3, depending on if you had firearm, bow, or muzzle loader. But let's just say you bought your non-resident firearm and non-resident bow. My understanding is you can kill $2, which for $271, not bad. Their size for their deer, they're not going to be your typical that you expect to find your next Boone and Crockett in, but you're going to find quality deer in it, and it also has decent enough herd. And the hunting's not, for the amount of hunters, for the amount of land, it's really not as pressured as you would think it would be. So that's another thing that's not bad. They have, flipping through my notes here, it's like 750,000 acres of public land, I believe, is what I have in my notes. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Over 750,000 acres, almost 16% of the state. Its total area is public land hunting. So this for the size of the state, 750,000 acres of property is pretty good. It's right at 16% of the size of the state. So, not too shabby there. And their firearm season, and like I said, just each area is different, but generally it varies by zone, early September and runs to mid-February, which is not a really bad time frame of hunting, and their prices aren't bad. Your amount of deer you can kill for it, you'd have to do more research to understand it, because like I said, I didn't put a bunch into it, other than my understanding is you can kill $1 with each license that you have. So you could kill $2, and then I think it's a few does off of your tags there too. Not certain, because I didn't spend as much time on this state. Just I wanted to get the basics. Like I said, some of these are just going to be really basic overviews. This is one of them, because I don't see New Jersey being on my list of states to go hunt anytime in the next 20 years. Just because it's not going to be, there's other states I would rather go hunt beforehand, even northern states. When we get into it, I think New York would be more of a state I would go to before Jersey, just because of the stuff that they have in northern New York and everything. So that would be why I would go hunt it before I would Jersey. But with that said, don't overlook it if you're looking for a state with decent amount of public land to hunt and decent amount of deer. It's not a shabby. It's not too shabby. Like, it's not going to be huge. You're not going to kill a huge deer, but you got a quality chance of killing deer without being really just stomped around on. So I think would it be in my top 10? No. Would it be a sleeper state that I would schedule a family vacation around early September and hunt? Definitely. This is, like I said, our third episode. This is New Jersey. The next episode that comes out will be Georgia. I'm kind of looking forward to Georgia. I know a lot of guys like to hunt Georgia. And the first 25, I think, you start getting, first 25, you get 3 or 4 that are like, ooh, maybe 5. After your first 25, you get into the meat and potatoes of it, and I think that's where it'll really pick up. So y'all tell us what we're missing, what you want us to add. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Julius Craig, Delta Flights Outdoors.